In these part review videos, I usually give you the one big thing that you must review. But OSPF is so important, in this video I'm giving you 3 things you really must review. And then as usual, I'll go through all the things you can use to review OSPF here in Volume 1, Part 6. Let's get into it. You have to be ready to understand OSPF neighbors, recognize when they're having a problem, and troubleshoot what's going on. So I've split that into 2 instructional videos. The first of them has this thumbnail currently, and it's all about failure reasons for which the show IP OSPF neighbor command does not even list the neighbor. All right. And then there's another video that has just some more things that cause neighbor problems, but those neighbors are listed in that show IP OSPF neighbor command output, but then routes don't show up in the routing table. Then to practice that, I've got one ad hoc lab for you that you could do after this video. Now, you may have seen all those before, but I would say for part review, you should repeat those. Those are pretty important topics. So that first video goes over these reasons. There are 9 of them listed. I'll leave them there. You can hit pause and read them if you want. And again, the show IP OSPF neighbor command does not list the neighbor if these things are issues. Whereas these additional 3 reasons you see on the next page, for these, there are no routes added to the routing table using that neighbor, although you will see the neighbor either appear and stay there or appear, disappear, depending on the issue. So how do you find these things? Well, as usual, look in the CCNA playlist with this direct link or this QR code and scroll down. These are in Chapter 24, so toward the end of the Part 6 videos in the playlist, that's where you'll find these. Next up, the biggest review task is to look at the routing table, and here's why. If you look at Domain 3 in the current blueprint, current as of when I recorded this video, is blueprint version 1.1. Domain 3 is 25% of your points on your test, and there are only 5 exam topics. Now, 2 of them have verbs that aren't configure and verify, but those first 2 exam topics are all about the routing table. First one is directly about the routing table, and the second is you applying logic to data about the forwarding decision, and the data is in the routing table, all right? So those first 2 are really all about the routing table. So there's a fairly highly proportionate amount of information that's relying on this routing table. So taking a closer look at those exam topics, exam topic 3.1 is really all about interpreting the routing table, and this list of more specific items calls out all the details of what you would see in the output of the show IP route command. You should master everything you see in the output of show IP route. And then 3.2 is about using that data, so matching the routing table, and then interpreting the meaning of the administrative distance and the routing protocol metric that you see in the square brackets in the output of that command. So how do you learn about that? Well, hopefully you've seen these before if you're here at the review video, but if you haven't, there are 2 videos associated with Chapter 24. One's about the administrative distance, as we mentioned before, and then one's about this longest prefix match logic that you see there. In fact, that longest prefix match, there's an associated ad hoc lab, which interestingly has an exercise that uses Google Gemini AI to give you feedback on your answers about, well, this is the route I think this routing table would match. Is it right? And it'll help guide you through and help teach you how to make the right choice about what a router would really do. OSPF is a big topic for CCNA, so you should use the BIG OSPF Lab, but maybe not yet. So ask yourself, are you still working to understand OSPF and recall how to configure things? Then don't use the BIG Lab yet. Use the individual config labs at my blog site, and use the ad hoc labs that are video-based labs that you can do from here in the channel. Those are usually 15, 20, maybe 25-minute labs that you can do and build on individual skills and topics with OSPF. Then when you think you feel like you know most or all of OSPF to a CCNA level, then use the BIG OSPF Lab to deepen your skills and review those. In fact, I would suggest even waiting a few weeks after you feel like you've got a comprehensive knowledge of OSPF giving it some time, and then using this big lab to review and refresh and deepen. All right, so what's the lab like? Well, you have this topology down here with some layer 3 switches, a couple of core routers, and some branch office routers, as you see here. And then you do these tasks. You configure OSPF, you configure the router IDs, you change some things to tune the metrics, you configure a default route so it's flooded throughout the OSPF domain. You reconfigure hello and dead intervals for some of the routers. You choose where to use passive interfaces and enable that. And then you convert some links to use network type point-to-point instead of a broadcast network type. So there's a lot here. It's a fairly extensive lab. It will take you hours to do. I've set it up so you can start it, do some of it, come back to it, keep working on it, maybe do it over a couple of 3 lab sessions. And hopefully it will be a great review for you. So what else can you do and should you do? Well, you should take advantage of some great tools with the books, for instance. There are part review questions built in as ways to review material from each part. You should definitely use those. You should review the key topics from the chapters in this part, maybe even repeat the chapter review questions from those chapter beginning quizzes that you see. So let's talk about how to do all that. First off, as a reminder, this video course follows the same outline as the books, the broad outline. So here we are in Volume 1, Part 6, which is on OSPF, so that's where you want to be. Now, to use the practice questions that come with the book, there are instructions in the book, but here's a quick overview of it. One time you do the things on the left side of this slide. You go to ciscopress.com and you register your book. You read the instructions there. It's pretty self-explanatory. At that point, your book, like CCNA Official Cert Guide Volume 1, appears in a list of, quote, registered products. It might be your first registered product with Cisco Press. Once it's registered, there'll be a code that appears there, all right? But there's also a link to what's called the, quote, companion website. It's basically a web page there at Cisco Press that has all the electronic tools listed, electronic study tools. It's also got how-to instructions about the process I'm describing to you right now. And then it's got this access code listed that helps this process work. All right, so that's what you'll see related to this registered products part of the page. Then at another website, pearsontestprep.com, that's where you're going to use the actual questions, but you have to go through a registration process there as well. So you go there and you want to register your book product over there, and you've got to use the access code that's available on the registered product page over at Cisco Press. So you're looking at ciscopress.com, you see this access code, you copy it there, and you paste it over here at pearsontestprep.com, and you've registered the test there. At that point, you can repeatedly come back to pearsontestprep.com and use it and use your practice questions there from any device you want to. All right, so there's the process. For these part review questions, you're going to get into the user interface and say, hey, I want to use questions for, say, the Volume 1 Official Cert Guide, and one of the pieces of the user interface will list all your available exams like these. And to do part review questions, you want to pick the exam that has part review in the name. And your process runs like this. You're going to open the Volume 1 product. You're going to pick exam Volume 1 part review. And then you're going to, quote, unchoose all objectives. And that's basically saying, I don't want to have any questions. And then you choose the one objective for the one part that you're reviewing, like Part 6 about OSPF. So between these steps, you're unchoosing everything and then choosing the one part you want to review. And then if you begin your exam, the exam engine will only give you questions from that one part. All right, so that's how to do part review for a part. If you want to do the same kind of thing for a particular chapter, like 1 or 2 or 3 of the chapters in this part, you do the same process, but the exam you choose is called a Do I Know This Already exam. The chapter pre-quizzes are called Do I Know This Already quizzes, so that's the term there. So you do the same thing. You pick the correct exam, you unchoose all the objectives, and then you choose the objectives for every chapter that you want to see questions for, and then begin your exam. All right, so that's how to get to the questions. There are a lot of questions in the database, by the way. Finally, there's that companion website available with the books. You can use that. Here's an image of the Volume 1 companion website, and you see these boxes over here on the left. Well, those boxes are basically links and pointers to all this content that exists down off the bottom of the page. And for instance, if you clicked key topics, it would scroll you down on the page to a key topics area. Now, what the key topics are, if you've got the physical book in front of you, if you just open it and scroll around and flip pages, you'll see in the margins an icon that says key topics occasionally. And that's an indicator to say to you, hey, the thing here, the topic here is maybe something that's fairly important. You should memorize it if it's a table, or make sure you understand a concept or a config command and so on. All right. So what we've done here at the companion website is collect those key topics into PDFs so you can more easily review those on the fly. All right. So make sure you take advantage of the companion website to do that. So if you're ready to get going on some of this and you want to see some videos, click on the left and you'll see the CCNA course playlist. Scroll down to part 6 and you'll see the videos related to part 6, all about OSPF. If you're interested in that big config lab, click on the right and you'll see the video that's the intro video for that big lab, and it'll tell you all about it. Hey, thanks for spending the time. I'll see you in the next video.